Hey guys, Pam here. I have an update for you. It's not very good. Well, I can't say that. It's bittersweet. If you saw my last video, Miss P and I started Vanlife, and we were down south at a free camping park in Falcon County. And I was kind of enjoying the fact that I wasn't here. That drive down there was fantastic. It was just knowing the freedom, and it was just awesome. But it was so hot. Miss P suffered. She laid in this floor, and I really thought she was going to die. It was that hot. It was so bad. Pam suffered. The ram suffered. You just can't live in that kind of heat. Like there's no, it was really bad. My plan was to leave the next day from there and go farther south. I thought if I could get to the oceanside breezes should be cool. And then we wouldn't have to spray water and all that. But that wind would be cool enough that we could, stay a few days and plan out our next move and, just continue on with the way van life is. But that evening, when I stopped filming, as bad as that day had been, I got a phone call about the time we laid down to give up for the day. My realtor had found an attorney, actually the attorney that works with the title company. When there's a sale and they have a question about heirship, this is the guy they go to handle it. How good is that? So my realtor says I need to come back and meet with him or to get him all the paperwork, and he would, scan it or do whatever he needed to do and get it to the guy. And had that packet of information been in storage, or if I'd left it at my son's or something, I could have just called and had somebody meet him and give it to him. But all that paperwork was in the van. I had it with me. So I tried so hard to go to sleep that night. I tried so hard. Couldn't do it. That phone call was on my mind. The cat, her health was on my mind. Like, even though it was dark, it was a little cooler. I had cracked doors on each side. We had some breeze coming through here, but it was still hot. And it's like, I'm just gonna go. Anyway, about midnight, I just couldn't take it anymore. I threw the litter box back in here. I closed everything up. I secured a few things and cranked up, fired that AC on high, and drove out of there. I'd like to go back and spend some time there and maybe actually talk to some of those people. I had 2 visitors while I was there for that day, and everybody seemed to be super nice. But I never even walked up to where everybody was, because when I got there and I saw people, I parked kind of down off by myself. It's kind of my first experience. I didn't want to just pull up in the middle of a bunch of people because, if somebody has their little clique and you walk up in there, you're not welcome. So you don't know exactly. It was that way in high school. Like, you didn't walk up, you didn't sit down at a lunch table with any of the cliques because you weren't welcome there. You learned that very early on. So I didn't want to just pull up next to somebody, because plus I had a cat. I didn't know how many dogs were going to be at that park. Like, there were different reasons that I pulled down, not to mention the fact I'm somewhat of an introvert now that I've been out here by myself for so long. And I say out here because if you haven't picked it up yet, Miss P and I are back on the property. And that's why I say it's bittersweet to be here. I didn't want to come back. But this lawyer's taking care of the paperwork, which desperately needed to be done. I was so worried, how was I going to do it according to what the other lawyer told me. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do what he told me to do. This guy's like, no, we need a couple of signatures and ... And he said, it'll take me about 2 hours to draw it up. What? Oh my God. It was so, I couldn't believe it. I absolutely couldn't believe it. So we've been back here for a little bit. I hate to say how long because I haven't made an update yet, but to come back here threw me into my depression, it just, I can't be here. I need out. And coming back, it was like that dread, the whole, that one road, once I get on it, knowing that I'm coming here, it just takes me, I can't get out of it. But the room that I live in this house, has air conditioning. I can't run the house air conditioned because I can't afford the electricity. So I have a window unit in the back room where I spend every day of the year. Because I can't run the whole house AC, I'm in there because it's hot. I live in Texas. So in the summer, I'm shut up in there with blacked out windows, and that's where I live. In the winter, I have no heat at all in this house. And in the winter, all I have is an electric blanket. So I spend all winter in that room, in that bed, in that house. Like I've been a prisoner out here on this 13 acres of quiet, and I'm in one little 8x10 room every day, all day long. I didn't want to come back here. But because it was so hot and miserable, making that decision to get up at midnight and just get back here as soon as we could to get comfortable and get some AC and some rest was kind of a no-brainer. That's why I say it was bittersweet. I don't want to be here. And it brings on my depression and my anxiety. I don't want to be here. But it's willing. I'm willing to deal with that for a little while because there is air conditioning here, and I can kind of research and decide what I'm going to do, what I'm going to buy, how I'm going to pay for it, and get all that stuff worked out so the next time we leave, I won't have an air conditioning problem. The cat won't lay in the floor and suffer the heat anymore. Like, we're going to take care of that. Of course, once I get that solution figured out, it's got to have power. So my battery and solar and all that's got to be rethought out. So I needed a place to do all that research and kind of get my mind into it and figure out finances and things like that. So being here for that is not the end of the world. I don't mind it. She's comfortable here. I opened that door and she took a little sniff or two and just bolted. Like she was so glad to be in her territory, I felt bad for her, but we're just here for a short time. The paperwork that I came back to take care of, the man's already finished it. I have in my hand, because we've been here for weeks, I don't want to talk about it, but I have everything in my hand. All I need are the signatures and the notarizations. There's 2 packets. I need 2 signatures in this packet and 2 signatures in this packet. And tomorrow, I'm going to meet here in town at the bank for the 2 people that need to sign this packet, and we're going to have it notarized and go to lunch. Taking care of that tomorrow. And then, that was a big breath. I'm kind of heated. And then Monday, I'm driving early in the morning. I'm going to go to Dallas, north of Dallas. I'm taking Scotty with me because my husband's daughter and Scotty need to sign their packet, and they have to do it together because each set of signatures is on the same form. And I really thought he was going to mail everybody their own forms. That's kind of what I was waiting on. Like, everybody's just going to get a packet in the mail. They're going to go and have it notarized and send it back, and I don't have to worry about it. But because everybody's on the same form, he said I could make multiple copies and send them out, but it's like, why? The 2 signatures here in town, like, we're just right here. We could just run down there, and people meet up for lunch all the time. Like, we just swing by the bank first. It won't take 10 minutes. And I've been meaning to see Rich's daughter anyway, and Scotty's been wanting to see her. And why not just, 2 birds and go take care of this and spend a little time with her. Her job's got her quite busy. I think she says she's running it now and she's short-staffed and she's having some trouble. So we may not get to spend a lot of time with her if she's at the job many, many hours. But at least I'll get to put my eyes on her for a little bit, if nothing else. So that's kind of the update. It was bad one. I don't want to be here. I'm still ready to go. I kind of feel like, though, that little jaunt that I took, you know, I went to my son's house because I had the back of this thing loaded to the ceiling with stuff to store there. And so that's kind of been taken care of. I don't have to worry about it. It's all done. And then I went south and spent a couple days, kind of, sort of a couple days. It took me an overnight kind of thing to get there because I'd stop and nap and whatever. And then that day there was just horrific. The experience, I don't know how to word it, because the experience wasn't horrific. Just the weather, the heat, that's what ruined it. But going and being there and people come and talk to you and just accommodating, and if you need anything, let us know. You know, it was just that community kind of feel. Like, that's what I've been looking for. What are you doing? Are you a pretty girl? You ready to go in the house? Yeah? Let's go in the house. Alright, well, I'm gonna say thank you one more time and head in there with her and see. She may need some water or something. She don't normally just sit and beg, so I'm gonna go figure out what her deal is. And take my clothes in. That's really why I came out, because I am going into town tomorrow and I didn't have any clothes. I had to come out here and get it. I'm still living out of the van in the house like I did before, and it's kind of problematic at times, but we're making do. So thank you guys. Y'all be good, love one another, and I'll see you on the next one.